Let's look at some other things too. We, as Larry said, that's exactly right. Larry said that we have to have a multiple approach. And the second one is we wanted to find ingredients that killed P. acnes. And we didn't want to use benzoyl peroxide. That took us right back to cinnamon bark extract. Not only does it do all the other things, it kills P. acnes. Wild oregano, an ingredient that you will hear more about in the future. Licorice, you already knew about. You knew that licorice kills P. acne and it kills a variety of other things. Salicylic acid does it. And salicylic acid has the additional benefit of clearing the follicles. So that was a good ingredient not only for P. acnes reduction, but for keeping follicles open. And triclosan. And we use triclosan two ways. We use it not only to kill P. acnes, but we also use it as a preservative within the product. We set it very, very, very low. It's less than 0.5% So it's not the legally allowable solution here in the U.S., but it is legally allowable in Japan, in Europe, in Canada, and Australia, all of the countries that have really rigid requirements. And it's ample with the other ingredients to act as our preservative. Combinations of these ingredients are contained in all of the Vion products. So we'll cover that base. Sometimes you'll have multiples, 2 or 3 that kill P. acnes. Inflammation was a difficult one. And going back again, you're going to have the involvement of hydrogen peroxide, of histamines, the response of P. acnes, and the interleukins, interferons, all of those. We used, again, cinnamon bark extract as an anti-inflammatory, which it is. We use zinc, again, as an anti-inflammatory, and zinc we'll end with as one additional explanation as to the biofunction of zinc within our bodies. We used oregano, turmeric, neem, and green tea, all of them to reduce anti-inflammatories or inflammatory agents, and all of these are found in Vion products. Substance P is a very interesting material. It's not a chemical, it's nerve fiber. And substance P is throughout your body. Within the skin, substance P lies adjacent to the sebaceous glands. And when substance B is agitated, and one way to agitate it is stress, it produces an enzyme called endopeptidase. Endopeptidase targets sebaceous cells, and it causes them to grow in size and grow in numbers. So if sebaceous cells grow in size and numbers, what do you get? More sebum. Yeah. And that's why people say, when I'm stressed, my acne is really bad. Well, of course it's bad. And the more stress you have, the more the sebaceous glands multiply and grow and grow and grow. So we wanted something that worked with that. Excuse me. I'm trying to look at which slide I'm on. Oh, yeah, there we are. And I'll go one more. So we introduced, again, zinc as a controller of substance P, oregano, and one more time cinnamon bark. When I found cinnamon bark, it was just like the end of the world. It was like, this ingredient is so good because it does so many other things. So we introduced those then as controllers and regulators of substance P. Let's make an application of this. Let's say you have a person who walks into your salon and they have rosacea. Rosacea is a stimulator of histamine. That is, they'll not only have vasodilation, but they'll have histamine, the skin turns red. The histamine then affects the substance P. The substance P then produces endopeptidase. It affects the sebaceous glands, and all of a sudden you have a customer who has acne rosacea. So that's how rosacea then becomes a natural progression into acne rosacea. So to a certain extent, we've said in our materials, and we're not going to go into this today, you can treat acne rosacea with these products because acne rosacea is a stimulatory effect on substance P. Substance P, by the way, is downregulated by all of the inflammatories that we said earlier that we use. and I won't go back to those again whatsoever. Any questions about how we selected, why we selected? And you'll find they're all natural, they're all minerals or botanicals, they're all perfectly safe. Yes, back there?
Is the cinnamon bark stimulating to the skin? Does it feel tingly?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And the more tingly, the greater the probability is that that could be somebody who's going to be reactive to it.
Okay.
So tell them to use it for 3 days if their skin is just fine. It can be a little warm and tingly, but it's fine, they're okay. But if they're going to react, they're going to react on day 2 or day 3. And all that you do is take them off of that cleanser and put them onto the bacteriostat cleanser, and you just march forward.
Would they get a rash then or something?
They get redness.
Okay.
Yeah, and once they have redness, you don't want them to go any farther. You just want to stop. And knowing that, and you should tell them that internally that cinnamon is not the best thing for them.
Okay.
And just stay away from it. And that would be unfortunate if they develop diabetes, because that might be a natural way of controlling it. Question back there?
Do you find that an ingredient's effectiveness is determined by if it's organic or non-organic? For instance, the cinnamon bark?
No, I find it more an area of refinement. There's a lot of bio-trash, and we've been very, very cautious about where we get our raw ingredients. We may pay a little bit more, but for example, we would never get a raw ingredient from a country that has a bad reputation, and there is a country out there that has a horrible reputation. It's a good place to get cheap ingredients, but not a good place to get effective ingredients. Other questions?
No. Just to go back with the rash, from a pharmacy standpoint, you'll get a mild redness. Removing the causative effect will almost always take care of it. If they develop pustules, that type of stuff, then that's probably they're really sensitive to it. Then it may be a time to say, you probably need to call your physician, because then that could lead into something else. Rarely, rarely happens. Err on the side of being overly cautious on it. You know, it's better to say, might be it's not your fault, because they didn't know you didn't know on it. So that's one thing you might want to just follow up with, is just qualify with it.
If I could say one more thing too, I don't need that. If before they leave and you're going to be using that ingredient, their product, rub it onto their face and look for redness. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen there. So you could almost make the determination before you even send them out if you want to.
Yeah, and it's 1% of the population. It's really rare that we've had that on it. Real quick, Bion does what we've just been talking about. So this is just a little bit. I'm going to tell you what we have, and then we'll get back into some other things. Bion products, we reduce the dihydrotestosterone for less sebum. We're going to reduce follicular inflammation and the blockage, and we're going to kill the P acne. So we work on all 3 areas we talked about. Controlling acne with our products, about 90% or over. The other 10% we'll talk about sometimes can be a hormonal adjustment, so we can get close to that 100%. If you don't get a cure, well, I don't want to say cure, we guarantee this stuff 100%.